Well, hello, beautiful artisans. Welcome to Echo Art with Carmella-T. So we were able to change the name. I've got to the village. I've been hours on this village today, and it's been like several minutes. I finally just had to stop because I figure I'd just bring you along with me on the last few little things that I'm doing here today on it. But I wanted to refine it a little bit in this video and show you I've got some things stitched down, show you the design a little bit, and then start bringing you along with me on how I progress. Typically with pieces like this, where I start adding my paint, I start adding beads, I start adding different sashiko stitching, and or embroidery stitches. So I'm working on the seed stitching right now. And but I want to kind of go backwards a little bit. Oh, also this tripod that I have, so this should give you a clearer view of what I'm doing. I have the piece turned towards you. So, and when I don't have it turned towards you, I can have it over my shoulder so that you can actually look at the piece and see what I see. So that is a step in the right direction, right? So I'm going to put the video down, and I'm enjoying finishing up a cup of coffee as I really needed it after hours of kind of going through this, and I want to keep my energy up for you. So I'm going to turn this down and start talking to you a little bit about what I have done. And so this piece, if you can see this, is just absolutely adorable. This roof got turned this way quite by accident, and I left it. I'm like, I left it. I mean, look, with art, there's no rules, right? Especially in my book. And I mean literally in my book that I'm writing. I share with you how I've done different projects, and yeah, there's no rules, okay? So if something happens by accident, that's okay, and you love it, go with it. And I turned it, because when this happened, I turned it straight again, and then I turned it back, and I turned it that way, and I'm like, oh my, literally, oh my God, what a wow moment, because when it was straight, it just didn't cut it anymore. And at that moment, when it was straight, it was like all the world. It was like just adorable. It was just reminding me of the stone cottages in the UK that we had done our research on. And then I overlapped it a little bit with this one. And I'm going to show you that, show you this. So, I mean, come on. It doesn't get cuter than that, seriously. It just reminds me of two little kittens or puppies in their houses, so I don't even know. But it's just too cute. So I refined this end of, I'm going to turn this a little bit. I'm going to turn this camera, and that's the nice thing about the camera. It should be a little easier for me to work. So bringing it over this way, yeah, right here is the bird house. I switched out the roof, and I got the bird outlined with stitches. I refined the little entranceway. I refined the post. I had a jean seam, and then this fabric outlining the jean seam. So I took the jean seam off. I'm going to have a sip of coffee here. And I liked it much better. And this is longer, and then this was wider, so I kind of cut it. And then I just kind of, for the moment, put these flowers there. And I will be adding to the flowers. I took all the other flowers off for the moment So I'm going to put this coffee away and show you here. On this piece, I added stairs, and they're all jean seams. Again, jean seams. And kind of have it turning. And I played with this a little bit. And by the time I was done with it, I made an executive decision to put fabric glue just a tad underneath each one, because the pins were not really keeping them in place. And I was moving this around a lot because I stitched most of each house in place. I wanted the roofs in place and things in place so I could work. Now, how did I stitch them? I stitched them just like you see here with the roof on the edge. I did the same thing with these. I didn't go all the way through and whatnot. Now, if you want, as an artist, you lay out your design on your base, and then you want to do your horizontal and vertical running stitches, whichever way you do them, right onto the base. All of those stitches, you certainly can do that. I did the piece, as you know, with you. I showed you we did each piece. And then when I put them on here, I stitched them on the edges. So now I'm going to bring you over here. Okay. Now, I was going wonky. I really was going wonky. I took this tiny little house that I think is just so incredibly adorable. And I turned the roof. Here, I'm going to show you because it did not do it for me, like, at all. It just did not. I turned the roof like that. I didn't like it. So I didn't like it. I didn't like it like this. It just, nothing did it for me. Some things sometimes, and I attribute this to the balance in life, like, we are not perfect as humans, right? And I was kind of looking at these as a whimsical, adorable little metaphor on how things are just not perfect. Now, I felt like when I was taking this house, I was even doing it with the windows. I was turning the windows like that, and just trying to get, and it didn't feel right. It almost felt like I'm making this little house look chaotic. I'm making this little house look broken. It wasn't like it was flowing with the construct or the size or the aesthetics of this house. It wasn't working. So I left the house as just a cute little house as it is designed. And that's just adorable. This one still needs to be stitched down. Now, I also want to share with you on the steps here of this one, the steps and the steps here, and I'm going to fold this over so you can see, and the steps of this one. I put little tads, teeny tiny little tad of glue. I'm going to show you the glue. This is a Eileen's fabric. It's a tacky glue. It's for fabrics too. So it says on it, it's for fabrics. So I put a teeny tiny bit, not a lot. I just wanted to keep my steps in place. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you using a tool to help you get your design in place. So for this little house, I did, for the moment, I did a simple running stitch. Now this roof is a little wonky, but you can't tell right now. This is the chimney, but where it's wonky is here. This is actually not a straight line. So by the time I am done sashiko stitching this, which I will sashiko stitch that, it will be a little wave. It will be a little wave. So this one will have a tiny little bit of whimsical in it, but it's just adorable like that. So now what I did was, whoops, I just lost my light. Well, that's okay. We have we have another light here. So we'll just move this one on over. So what I did here is I took the flowers out because I really want to come back around. I left this flower and because I just love it, but I want to come back around and make more flowers and add the flowers at the end. That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like I want my constructs, I want my buildings in place, and then I want to come and add the flowers. So that's how we're going to do that one. And what I did here is I started seed stitching. And I want to get out for you. I'm just going to get up for a moment over here. And I'm going to get my beads. So these beads, I have a box of beads here and here. These are beautiful. These are thrift shop beads. And you can see it's right on there, $3. I got these a while ago. I mean, these are gorgeous. So we may use some beads out of this one. And, but we're going to first do the seed stitching and then come and add a few beads in the center. I'm not doing the seed stitching on the entire flower. I'm just doing it in the center. So I want to show you, for some of you know what seed stitching is. If you've done embroidery, if you've done sashiko stitching with me, I've shown you on other pieces, and it's super duper. It's a teeny tiny little stitch. So you do your little stitch. So when you go underneath, the space is going to be typically more anyway than your teeny tiny little stitch. And you're going to come up in a different direction. It's almost like you drop the seeds and they spatter all over the place. So what I do is I do it totally freehand and improvise as I go. I do a tiny little seed stitch and then I turn a different way. So you can turn a different way and come up a different area. And what happens is it covers, I love seed stitching. It's one of my favorite stitches because I feel like it totally covers area quicker than, and look, I can even do this backwards. Seriously, I'm not even kidding you. I'm like doing this, like this is upside down to me, but it's fine because seed stitching is, you can do it upside down because you're going different directions. So if you can manipulate your needle and thread, you can get this done in this way, like any direction. But the trick is, the thing about seed stitching, and I am going to turn it just so I get a better perspective, but the thing about it is that you're keeping your stitches super tiny. That's the thing. Now I could come up a little closer to that and that would save me some thread. And that's what I'm going to do. I can come behind the stitch from where I'm pulling the thread up. I can come behind it and create another stitch that way. But I want these sporadic, so I don't want them in a running stitch is what I'm saying. Like, I don't want them perfect. I don't want them to look like, you know, I drew a line from A to B, like, because they're supposed to be seed stitching. They're supposed to be looking like they're seeds, and they do look like they're seeds. So now what I'm going to do is a few more here, because I think you've got the idea. And I'm going to come up here, and then I'm going to, what I want to do, I'm going to use the same thread and needle, just like it is, and I'm going to add some beads. Let's just see what the beads look like. I want to add some beads. So these are absolutely, like I said, these are the best beads I've ever had. And I say that because look, there's large ones that is a glass bead. That's just gorgeous. Like I wouldn't buy that just because I wouldn't spend the money. I wouldn't buy it. Then there's these green glass. Now I don't know if the needle that I'm using will even fit, but I'm going to try it for the heck of it. I can't really even see that. And another tool that I've got is this. I want to share with you. I'm going to put this up for a moment. It is this magnifying glass that stands. So see, I can do this, and I can take a good look at that bead, and I can tell you it's probably not going to fit. Yeah, that's not going to fit. Not going to fit. So that's okay. I'll pick a larger type of bead, and that one's not going to fit either. So, well, that doesn't help us out very much, but we have a variety of beads that we can use. This one fits. So I will use that type of bead, and that's just going to actually be phenomenal because I love the color. So I'm going to put the camera back down so you can see how it starts to shape. So I'm going to put my beads over here. And now all I did was put the bead on the needle that I'm using to thread. That's all I did. And I'm going to take a few more out here and just put those. We're going to add those. And then we'll go to the painting. But we're going to add those. And all you do, well, this is how I do it, is just simply continue with your bead, with your seed stitching. So come up maybe around the area that you want to add that next bead. And when you do this, now I'm going to tell you, some people, I know this, because a lot of these things I did learn the correct way, and then I decided to do it my way. However, some people do bring the stitch right down, and they come back up through, so they've got the bead in its place. The bead does stay in its place, even if you bring your stitch up over here. It just does. It's not going to go anywhere. So now I'm going to put another bead on the needle. It just slips through. Oh, look, that's not going to fit that one. See, some of them do have different, oh, look, maybe these are smaller now all of a sudden. Yeah, they are. Let's see. Well, we may have to search again for just a little bit larger bead, which is totally fine. And, we're going to put that, I think too, that my needle is a little bigger. I was looking for my smaller needle. And this might be it here. No. So I think I misplaced my needle. Now what I do sometimes with my needles is these are usually larger. Let's check this one out. No, that's smaller. Okay, I'm just going to pick a bead that I know is big because we have big ones here. And we're going to go with that. So, and then you get a little bit more of the idea as I go through. And, yeah, here's some bigger ones here. Oh, these are gorgeous. Now see, That's totally, now if that doesn't go through that, I'll be surprised. It's not going to go through. Okay, and I am surprised. And look at this. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. There are needles, yes, that you can get that are specifically for beading. I do not have any, and I don't do a lot of beading, but it might be an idea to get some. And now I do rely on my thrift shopping supplies, but I could, I'm not too far removed from looking at the bargain bin and getting some beading needles, and they're super thin. So now the other reason I probably don't is because I'm always using I'm always using this, my lacy threads. And I get these, my lacy crochet threads, I get these from the thrift shop, and I probably have 50 of these. And because I got them all from the thrift shop. But it is definitely, I mean, you can do trial and error. I'm only using a few beads in this. Look how beautiful that is, though. And I want to put one more. Let's see if we're lucky enough to get one more to fit. And this is why I like to try to get rid of my pins, too, because when you're working on another project, they tend to catch. So, yeah, this looks like this will fit beautifully. Oh, that's just lovely. Okay, so that beading in my book is complete. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this close up, but I'm going to take the needle right off the thread, and I'm going to leave the thread long. And the reason I'm leaving it super duper long is because I'm coming back on this project, so I'll just leave my thread and I can work it there. So we're going to pin this. Take a look at just how beautiful that flower is. I mean, it's totally worth trial and error. In my book, look how beautiful that is. Okay, now what we're going to do, and I'm going to get my paints out, because what I want to do is test out just a few strokes here and a few on the steps of a little bit lighter shade of the blue. I keep feeling like I want blue and orange. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm only using 2 of these, and the reason is I'm notorious for not being able to stop with the colors. So I had my little cloth here. Here it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just like this. I just kind of want to see, and that will tell me on the stair. So that I'm going to do that on the roof. This is acrylic, and it's a simple little thing of acrylic. Acrylic goes onto fabric beautifully. Now, if you are caking it on, it will crack, absolutely crack. But if you're putting it on and you've got some water with it, like this, it will totally, you can see, oh, you know what it does too with denim? I didn't think of this, but especially it soaks right in. It does. It soaks right in with denim. So you're kind of seeing that happen, but that's okay. We'll get the highlights of what I'm trying to do, but yes, it soaks in with denim. Now, won't do that with another fabric so much, like this one. Oh, I love that. See, this is kind of a rustic thing I was envisioning, a rustic aesthetic. I'm loving that. So yeah, as it dries, it may go in. So actually with this one, you may have to put in a few layers. You could do a sealant. Now, kind of what I want to do, my hand just kind of wants to go like this. So what happens with me is I may start out like that, and then I end up with a completely different vibe or feel to it. So I'm really, really liking that right now. I'm going to leave that like that. And this is another thing I do is I come back to my work. Sometimes I leave it and I come back. Now these are not sewn down, and they will be sewn down with sashiko stitching. So I'm not going to put a lot of paint on these, but I kind of want to test what this orange, because I keep seeing orange on these steps. Yeah, that's gonna work. Now when I have the thread, when I have the sashiko stitching done, the thread will grab the orange, and because this is bright, so we'll grab it and it will highlight on the thread. So I'm going to leave that like that. I'm loving that right now. So anyway, I hope that that gives you some ideas today on the village. I just love that. I just love it. Now, this will all come together as it is pulling together. I'm going to show you, I'm going to hold up this flower again, because look, so the beads gave texture to the flower. It gave a little spice, a little color. It makes it look a little more like a flower. And yes, the rest of the flower will be sewn in sashiko stitching. That's why I left the thread on. But so I hope that that gives you some ideas. I would love to hear what your village is looking like. If you have added special little decor to it. Now with the bird, I've gone back and forth on the bird, if I should paint it, if I should get my markers out and put a little detail on that bird, or if I should use fabric. Now, the good thing about the marker or even the paint, if it doesn't work out like I like it, guess what? I can put the fabric right on top. I mean, this is what Boro is anyway, Boro inspired. This is what the mending is like. You can put it on top, like you can add a piece of fabric. But so anyway, I will, that's why time goes by so fast, because you're focusing on that design, that creation, and you're testing it out back and forth. So anyway, yeah, you can definitely use your magic markers, and you can add to your village that way. So the next video, this village will be complete. Today is Friday. So I'm going to say that this village, you know, it's hard for me to we know it's going to be done next week. I would like to say early next week. I would like to say by Tuesday or Wednesday. If it does take me a little bit longer because I jump back and forth with projects, then we would say closer to Thursday or Friday for sure it will be done. But anyway, so let me know what you think of that and how you're doing. And I will see you in the next one. And you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.